I'm glad we're connecting again.
I know, me too. It's awesome. Surprise, everybody.
Surprise, everyone. Yeah, there's a lot to share today. Yeah. I I and whoever's listening, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
I had an idea, and I thought Maria and I could have a conversation about being raw, honest, and real while we practice A Course in Miracles. And we'll get into that. And I will be sharing some personal stories that are going on with me right now, some health challenges. And Maria agreed that this would also be a very helpful conversation, to have. Right? We talked a little bit even before this Zoom call, and thought, wow, how important, helpful it can be when we share our stories and our challenges, because we all go through them, you know, at one time or another in our lives. And sometimes it's unexpected. Things can come up and then we're thrown for a loop and we're like, wow, I didn't expect this. And then we really have to, step up our game sometimes and even, put the course more into our practice in our daily lives. And it can be challenging. So I think a conversation like this is just, especially right now, and I know a lot of people are going through various things and different issues. um, and so we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about also being very authentic, raw and honest with ourselves, which can be very healing as well. And wouldn't you agree, Maria?
Yes.
Before we, okay. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
It's gonna be such a helpful conversation, Cindy. And thanks for thinking of me because I'm all about the raw and the honest. It's
you
just
are.
so helpful. So I'm excited to talk to you as my friend, but also like to be able to explore these incredible concepts. I think people are gonna get a lot out of it.
Great, yes. And I thought I would start off. I've in during this process of some health challenges I've been going through, this has been one of the most creative times of my entire life. So, meaning musically, I've been writing songs, song after song after song coming to me in my dreams. And I'm like, wow, maybe there is a blessing coming out, what I'm going through because, I'm being very creative. So I have a couple songs during this broadcast I'd like to share, and I'd like to start off with one of them. One of them is a Celtic type sounding song, it has a Celtic feel to it. And it's called Where the Cypress Grows. And it really speaks to the idea of really when you have a challenge that of course you can always forgive, um, but usually it takes some kind of challenge for us to really really remember the Holy Spirit, to think of the right mind, to really step up our game, to be more motivated to go within. That this song speaks to that. And it's called Where the Cypress Grows because the cypress trees, there's symbolism in the cypress tree where it can be a symbol of immortality, which we are immortal beings. But this song also speaks to the idea of being playful, but also just that we usually wait. This is, the ego part of the mind usually waits till something seemingly negative happens, although we don't have to define it as negative, but we wait sometimes till something we consider negative to happen for us to really, really go, oh my God, I need to really turn to the Holy Spirit now. And we don't always have to wait for something negative to happen for that, right? To turn to the Holy Spirit. This is we're being trained in the course that this is a daily practice. We don't have to wait till something comes up that's challenging. So this song kind of just speaks to that. So I'm going to play. I just thought I'd start off by playing this, and I hope everybody enjoys it, finds it inspiring, and then we'll come back, and Maria and I will start, having our chat. So here we go. It's called Where the Cypress Grows. I'm pulling it up.
I'm excited because I haven't heard it yet. So
Okay, here it is.
When the sunrise shows its face and your heart is filled with grace, remnants of old times past can be seen through the looking glass. And when the harsh wind blows, opening forbidden doors, let forgiveness fill the halls, gently lifting the ancient walls. Come with me where the cypress trees grow immortal wings, and the angels sing, and children dance and play their games across the misty plains. When the fruits of life grow cold and the cattle turn to stone, the people come out in droves to seek the Holy Ghost. Then the valleys thrive again, full of wonder and innocence, and the people walk hand in hand to the God they thought was dead. Come with me where the cypress trees grow immortal wings, and the angels sing, and children dance and play their games across the misty plains. La 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 la. Come with me where the cypress trees grow immortal wings, and the angels sing, and children dance and play their games across the misty plains. Come with me where the cypress trees grow immortal wings, and the angels sing, and children dance and play their games across the misty plains.
We have it.
Wow, that was so beautiful. It sounds very, like you said, Celtic. It took me like to another place. And then also I just feel like very mystic too, very mystical.
That's kind of what I was going for. Very mystical, kind of dreamy, mystical. Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Sort of haunting. Celtic music has that vibe to it. A lot of Celtic music has that sort of haunting quality to it. But yeah, so I just thought I would share. I think during these times too, I mean, if we're talking about even worldly stuff, during these songs I've been writing um, have a message of some kind of message to it of empowerment. Um, I have so many in the queue yet to be recorded, maybe 20. I've been really writing a lot. The thing is, everybody, I haven't been able to write with my hands because my left hand, which we're going to get into health stuff, but my left hand has been very stiff, and my fingers, so I can't make a fist. But so I don't know. Let's just get into it, Maria. Let's get into it.
Let's go,
So
girlfriend. I love it.
let's get into this raw, honest, and real. Raw, honest, and real. Is there anything you want to say to just, you know,
For me, it's
start
just,
this off too, even on this topic? Whatever
well,
it comes to, we're being very spontaneous, everyone, by the way. So
which is
raw,
the
honest, and
best.
real.
Yeah, which is the best thing,
Spontaneous.
Cindy, is just to, I
Yeah.
just, it's just a lot of trust, right? It's just going with what feels good. And I think this is what's coming up for me. It's just this is a very, I feel, helpful and important topic to be raw and honest. And I shared this before we went on live here, that when we are raw and honest and authentic with in our lives, especially being course teachers, it's helpful because then others can identify with us and identify with it. And then they also are given permission to be raw and honest and real. Now, they actually don't need permission. They can do it all the time. But when we do it, it's a symbol for them to be like, oh my God, like they don't have it all together. You know, they are course teachers, they're practicing, they're doing the lessons, they're doing their spiritual practice, they're teaching this. And at the same time, they're they have their moments, they have their days, and I have been very open about my ectopic pregnancy that I went through in 2014, that I lost one of my fallopian tubes. I've been very candid about Christian, how we got together, our struggles in our marriage. So I feel that people can relate to us in a human way because it does appear that we're human. I mean, I see you, Cindy, you see me,
Yeah.
something's going on
I
here.
see you too.
So I feel like, as well as you, it's like, I think you being honest, coming out and being honest, even more honest throughout the years, even with your books in reference to your health and what that has changed your life, I feel is important because then people can now come into their life and um, also feel that they don't need to have it all together, that they could be a hot mess. I remember when I was on my book tour with Christian, and Ari was very little, and Cindy, I was going through some major um postpartum after Ari, and I was traveling and teaching, and I didn't feel remotely happy, and I was giving a happiness workshop. I wasn't remotely happy. We were talking about this, and I walked in and I
Yeah.
sat down and I just felt guided, and I said, "Hey everyone, welcome to the Live Your Happy workshop. I just wanted to just call myself out. I'm not remotely happy. Who else feels this way?" Almost the whole room put their hands up, and it was an
Mm,
incredible workshop because
mm.
it started with honesty, it started with authenticity. It doesn't mean that we're going to be happy raw all the time. We're going to go through struggles, and that's what's the important part, is the forgiveness part. And that's what you're just saying right now. That's why I feel this is so important.
Yeah.
The conversation we're
Yeah.
having today.
I do. Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great, even more of a lead in to everything we're talking about, because especially the part about when you feel you have to put on a happy face. That now, I used to feel that way. I used to feel even in the more in the early stages um, of our teachings, even when I was with Gary teaching classes, and I always used to feel that even if I didn't feel great, that I needed to I'm a course teacher. I need to have it all together. I need to have a happy face. I need right to look a certain way, be a certain way. So that puts a lot of pressure and stress, on yourself. That's unnecessary. And over time, especially when things started coming up, challenges in my own life, I started realizing that is not helpful to anyone, not me or to anyone else. And that's not being authentic. So lately, um, boy, I have really noticed
Wow.
that things that I used to do, I don't do anymore. And that's one of them. This is why I wanted to call this topic being raw, honest, and real. One of the characteristics of God's teachers is honesty, in the
Hmm.
manual for teachers. And it means that what you think and do are not conflicting. What you think, do, and say are not in conflict. You're really being your true, authentic, right, honest self. That's a quality of a teacher of God, it says in there. And so I thought a lot about this, and I realized there was a time when I really, wasn't feeling very happy. Like you stated, you weren't happy when you went out there, but then you said how many people are not feeling is, happy. I mean, I think it's true. A lot of people would raise their hands, and if they're really being honest. The course even says, and I'll get into more my story in a minute, but the course even says, we do have faces we put on. We do have faces we put on because we want to be, to the ego, we want to be perceived in a certain way. It's very egotistical, but we want to be perceived in a certain way because we're afraid of others' judgment.
Mm.
We feel that others are judging us. And here the course is saying there's no one else out there to even judge you. It's all self-judgment. If we're judging,
Wow.
self-judgment, there's no one else out there even to judge you. So I've been thinking about even more about that lately, given what's come up for me lately is and some people might know this already because I've been talking about it a little bit in our classes, but most likely I went to see some doctors because I had frozen shoulder this past year, tendonitis in both arms, soreness in my legs. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I was starting to feel really sore, and I'm like, oh, this is, and I started just going to physical therapy, but I'm like, something else is going on with me. I feel a little taxed. So I went to the rheumatoid arthritis doctor last week, and all my tests were coming out negative. They were testing it for rheumatoid arthritis, for, I don't know, other kinds of things, and just in general, and just blood tests. But then I said, you know what? I've never been tested for fibromyalgia, and that's kind of a nervous system condition. And I feel like something's going on. And I don't know, maybe we should test for that. Do you know that for fibromyalgia, which thousands of people have, there's no test for that except for you just fill out a questionnaire. They don't even have a kind of a regular test. You just have to fill out this short questionnaire. I'm like, really? So it's sort of like you're playing a game. Like, do I really have this? Even if they think you might have it or not. So, but I did fill out the questionnaire. And
Kind
according
of like
to,
a diagnosis that they know for sure.
yeah, it's like
It's from a
they can,
questionnaire depending on your symptoms.
depending on your, and just, you
Yeah.
have to fill it out the best you can. And it can be a little bit tricky. I don't know. You're like, did I fill that out?
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And then, but according to what I put, the two of the doctors that were in the rooms thought, we think that this is fibromyalgia. So it was a way they were saying, diagnosing me as, yeah, we most likely you have fibromyalgia. And something else, which is interesting, called complex regional pain syndrome. I've never heard of that because my hand is so red and swollen and stiff, and it can be painful if I move it too much. They said there's a condition. They showed me a couple pictures of others who have that with their hand, and they say that's the label they put on it. And I'm like, okay. And I go, okay, so what do we do about it? I said, if you think that's what this is, and they said, well, most likely you're in your body, you have fibromyalgia. And then we're saying in your left arm, because of all the stuff going on in your hand, we're saying that's complex regional pain syndrome. I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I first remembered, and when I was sitting in the doctor's office, and Gary was with me because he has been coming to my appointments with me. And I said in my mind, I said, oh my God. And it really did feel, and this is, I really felt this. I was like, oh my God, I'm just looking around the hospital room, and I'm going, I'm really dreaming all this. I mean, I'm going through this experience, but I'm really dreaming all this. I'm like, this is so weird to me. I'm sitting in this hospital room. I'm like, this is part of my script. And all I'm doing is mentally reviewing. I'm still in spirit right now. I'm still as God created me. I'm perfect love and perfect light. I'm sitting in this hospital room, and there's some doctor going, oh, you have fibromyalgia. And it didn't seem real, to be honest with you. It didn't seem real. Now, although I was doing that in my mind and remembering the course, I am not saying but I have been feeling, though, it's been sore, it's been painful, it hasn't been easy, and this is the part where I really wanted to share with people that, you know, look, course students can have things too, you know, or things can come up. We're not perfect either. And, you know, I have had a rough year of, working through some of these, you know, these challenges, you know, and I've had to put my own, you know, things that I teach into practice and really kind of, I'm gonna step up my game here myself here and, you know, practice what I preach here, you know, and really, you know, find that space, find that authentic and quiet center. Of course, let's talk about the quiet center. So doing those kinds of things and doing the forgiveness when I feel it's necessary. Um, and, you know, always knowing that the foundation, I always come back to the foundation of truth as the course teaches us, yet I'm remembering how important it is. That's level one, but level two in the course is you don't deny your experience here in the world. You don't pretend and skip steps and just pretend, oh, you're just, everything is always peachy and always good when you're not really feeling that way. It's not really being authentic and honest. So on the practical level, on the world level, I've been going to doctors. I've been, you know, they prescribed a medication for me to take, which I had just started 3 days ago to see how this works to help with some soreness, right? And I realize, of course, as a course teacher, we all do, that healing is of the mind. But the point I want to make is it doesn't mean we neglect the physical level, our bodies, our physical level. That would be an unworthy form of denial, the Course says. And I'm very aware of that. In fact, Jesus says in the Course, you know, sometimes we need a combination approach to healing. Sometimes you use magic along with forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what I'm doing because that seems to be working the best for me right now. Everyone's different. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's what works is a combination approach. Because I don't want to, I'm like, if I'm feeling pain or a lot of pain, you know, my thinking is, I'm not going to, that's not for me, that's not very loving to just sit there and go, I'm pretend this is not painful or go, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm not going to take care of myself.
That
I'm just
was
going to let myself,
that's
right?
that's what I was just about to say, Cindy, that
Yes. Yeah. Go
love,
ahead. Begin.
no,
Yeah.
what I was, no, that's what I was gonna say is like love moves. Love moves. It doesn't, when you said it's not very loving, yeah, exactly. It's not very loving. It's not an intellectual course. I always tell people it's not intellectual. It goes beyond the intellect in the sense to non-form actually. That's where the course is teaching is trying to teach us is from that level, but it's hard to comprehend because we want to make it intellectual and take it very literal. Like this world is not real. If you take it intellectually and you're like take it word for word like it's fact, then it's like the world, yeah, it's not real. We know that. I know
We
that.
know it's not
we
real.
we know
Yes.
it's not real, but at the
Yes.
same time when we
Yes.
deny it and we appear to be here and it appears
Right.
very real, it's an attack.
Yeah.
It's actually like a little attack. But I feel that when you said it's not loving, I love that, you've been guided and you're taking the medication. It's love moves and does things in the world for because it's a symbol, it's a sign, it's magic, it's whatever you want to call it, right? The course calls it magic, but it's like how was it? It's like let's say somebody has cancer. I've had people I've worked with cancer. It's like the loving thing to do is to, first of all, not judge it as best as you can. That's forgiveness, right? And
Mhm.
get the best doctor you can find.
Yes.
That's what love
Absolutely.
does. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
love that you said that you went to the doctor and now you're taking medicine, you know?
Yeah, I'm doing the normal thing. I mean, I'm following my guys. For some, it could be a different approach, but for me, that's what works.
Yeah.
That's what, for me and my personal experience, this is what I thought would be most loving and helpful to do.
Mhm.
And I realize everyone has their path. And but I've watched, both Gary and I have watched people we love um just try to heal themselves with their mind. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that it didn't end up working out so well for them, and they, you know, their condition got worse because they, not to assume, you know, that I know their path, you know, and I really respected their path and what they were choosing, but at the same time, Gary and I were kind of going, huh. But I wonder if they would have just sort of maybe really did go to the doctor or really try to, get some kind of treatment and be kind of practical. I wonder if that could have helped them too, instead of, unless you're at Jesus's level where you basically can, you have that, you really, really are at that place, at that level of advancement where a lot of us aren't at that level where, but so I think it's very, very important to remember this, just to remember that it's really okay as a course student, and it's perfectly normal to seek, some kind of whatever it is you need, therapy, you need to go to see the doctor, you need to, whatever it is to look, just make the body comfortable. Um, you can still do the forgiveness work in your mind. You can still, of course, have that foundation of truth. Remember who you are. Do those, your course practice. Do those workbook lessons. Do the whatever it is, and read passages that inspire you. You can maintain, a position of being inspired in whatever way you can be inspired. And this is what I found has been helping me through this time, my maintaining some kind of creativity. And that's why I think I've been writing so many songs, doing talks like this, doing interviews, talking about it. Have you, Maria? I have found that when other people share their stories of hardship or whatever they're going through, um, doesn't it feel like it helps you on some level? I mean, I know it does me. I go, wow. It's sort of like it makes you remember we're really all one mind, and we all share the part of the mind that is the ego that has, well, we have or some kind of issue, or sometimes we have this problem or that problem, but we also share the right mind. But I know from my experience, I've always watched people, even celebrities, when they share their hardships, it's
Hmm.
helpful. It's really
Absolutely.
helpful. I
Absolutely.
feel that way.
When I used to go to
Yeah.
Unity Church in Miami, one of my favorite ministers would share like that, and I would always be so moved by her because she would make me cry or laugh, and I just love how she would call herself out. She was a minister and she was up there speaking, and I always said, this is before I started speaking, I was like, if I'm ever a minister, that's the kind of minister I want to be. And I think that me coming into being a minister myself, I always had her in my mind and saying, I will always be raw, real, authentic Cindy
Hey.
because of her, because I
Yeah.
felt that her speaking would touch my heart in such a deep level that I was like, if I can do that for other people, and I would love to do that. So I think that it's important, especially where we're at, both of us as teachers of the course and how visible we are. It's like it's okay to, it doesn't mean anything that if your body is off or hurting, it doesn't mean that you're not awakening. It doesn't mean that you're doing the lessons wrong. And it doesn't mean anything. And as I was saying, and this is actually going even deeper here, it's like one thing has nothing to do with the other because ultimately we're not a body, right? So it doesn't mean anything at all. And I feel that that's important to know because I feel that sometimes people are going through body things like you are, even maybe at a worse level, and they're thinking the course doesn't work or they're doing it wrong or
Right.
they feel guilty or it's
Right.
sinful.
Right.
And it's not even that. It's just that the whole point is to get to the point, for me, this is my opinion, is to get to the point of where you are in your situation and you are forgiving as best as you can, which is letting go of the judgment of yourself, of what's going on. And also with that, it's just you can be in it with non-judgment, for me, is actually the best healing that you can do. So if you're in pain, or you're not in pain, but let's say you're in pain, you will be in it differently because you might still feel the pain,
Mhm.
Cindy, but at
Mhm.
the same time, you can be in it and there's less guilt. So there is healing taking place, but it has nothing to do with the body. It's you're healing your mind. It's not a physical thing. It's a mind thing because the mind creates the body. The mind creates the body.
Yes. 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 It's always a huge a key in the course. And very well said, by the way,
Thank you,
that
Cindy.
you know, that brings up something. Yeah. But absolutely, you're right that, and this is so good, everyone who's tuning in,
It's
to remember
juicy.
this,
It's juicy,
that
Cindy.
what's that?
It's juicy. It's
It's
juicy.
juicy. Yes, it's very juicy. It's very juicy. Yeah. And I just want to eat it up like one of those sloppy burgers you see on those juicy burger commercials. You just want to eat it up because it is juicy. But yeah, it's very important to remember that just because, right, you feel pain, it doesn't mean that you're not a good course student, you're not practicing the course, that, oh, I'm not doing forgiveness right. Sometimes we practice forgiveness and we're doing all the steps, but it doesn't always mean everything is going to go in the world perfectly, with the body, because because your mind is being healed, but it doesn't mean always that, and it's very helpful to let go of attachment to outcomes,
Exactly.
that because we're not bodies. And so why not just do the inner work, trust that healing is being done at the level of the mind, because that's where all healing does occur, as you brought up so beautifully, and that the body is an effect. So sometimes symptoms might go away. Sure, that happens. Sometimes symptoms might go away or get better. But if they don't, it doesn't mean you're not still being healed at the level of the mind. Because guilt, if you're doing forgiveness, guilt is being removed from the mind, even layer by layer, little
Yeah.
by little. Last night, I was in bed and I've gotten to this place where there's this practice that I do too. For some reason, I feel like I found actually this space, this space the course is talking about. It's almost hard to even explain. There's a space that I can enter where it's almost like it feels like it's behind the third eye area. Um, but it's sort of like in your you just think of it as your whole center, not like it's in your body, but there's a space and
Hmm.
you can enter it. For me, it feels like it's sort of behind the third eye area in the middle of the body, but I know it's not in the body. So, but there's a space and I enter there and I'm aware that it's different. I don't feel like I'm really in a body. I really am in spirit. I'm mind. And I go into this space and I'm like, it literally took my headache away last night. When I felt, and I was saying to myself that quote, at the same time, the guiltless mind cannot suffer. The
Hmm.
guiltless mind cannot suffer while I was in this space. It's like Jesus talks about, and there's a workbook lesson where he says to find the quiet center. He talks about he said it like this. He says, go downward. It's like a sensation of going downward and inward, downward and inward. I know that sounds confusing. Like, what do you mean downward? But he's saying going downward and inward. It's almost like you're kind of collapsing into yourself,
Hmm.
not collapsing like your body's
Yeah.
collapsing. I mean, there's a sensation of sort of you're going so inward that it's like a space you enter, like a field you enter, and this field is very beautiful. And when you're in that authentic space, it's like you don't feel the pain or as much. That's what happened to me last night. I was practicing that, and I said, the guiltless mind cannot, I remain as God created me. The son can suffer nothing, and I am his son. As I was going to this space, because I was having a headache, um, and a kind of intense headache. And I go, all of a sudden I was aware, I go, oh my God, the it's going away. It's just, I was just aware that it was gone. And I was really putting it into practice though. And we do have to practice these things, and of course the whole workbook is about practicing, it's a practical application, but I wanted to share with people there is a space and you can find it. And when you find it, boy, is it helpful. Like it can be helpful with pain. Now, a key to remember, and I'll get your thoughts on this too. A key to remember though, I think for anyone listening who's gone through any kind of pain, to remember that all pain is in the mind. It's not in the body. Even though it feels like, oh God, my left shoulder, I have frozen shoulder right now. But that pain in my left shoulder is not in my shoulder. It's in my mind. If it's in my mind, it gives me my power back. I can change my mind about it. And I
Yes.
choose forgiveness. I can do the work, right? Then that's where forgiveness comes in. That's where you change it. You go do the miracle, the shift in perception, and you can do all that work at the same time. Go ahead. You had something
I
you wanted to
think
say.
I think I think it's a good point, Cindy, that you're saying. I think that the tangible way for me that I'm hearing, and I love that space that you went into, and I think it has a lot to do with acceptance, which you had talked about earlier. I feel that when we deny reality or deny what is happening, um it just that's where actually even more guilt and pain comes. So if you have something, a pain, and your little girl or your little boy saying, I don't want this pain, or I don't want to have this cancer, or I don't want to have this, um what is it, the condition, yeah,
Fibromyalgia.
I don't want to have that, right? But the
Mhm.
reality is that that's what is in the moment,
Right,
but and
right.
you deny that, it's just war. And then that's where even more suffering comes in. That's actually where you're thinking that your plan is better than God's
Yeah,
underneath it. Does that make
yeah,
sense? So it's
yeah.
like you're denying
Yeah.
reality. You're saying, I don't want this, but it is. So for me, how do I get to that space that you're saying, at least for me, is that acceptance of like, I want things to be exactly the way they are because that's the way they are. And if I want it to be different, I lose about
Mhm.
100% of the time because it is what is, right? And then after that, then I'm free. I'm free. I can still have the pain, but I'm freer because I'm not saying my way is the way. There's a reason why you have what you have. There's a reason why people have the pain that they have. There's a
Absolutely.
reason why people have the cancer they have. It's all there. And I'm not just speaking, even when I had my ectopic pregnancy in 2014, which I've been very open about. I was a full-time minister. I was already speaking at Unity Church. I had already, been out there, and then this teacher from nowhere has to go to the hospital, gets her one of her fallopian tubes taken out, and and at that time, the reason that I got through it is because I had total acceptance. I showed up. I was like, I'm a teacher of God. I forgot who I was. This is the situation, and this is what it is. But I never said I don't want to not have this. I never said I do not want to lose a fallopian tube. I said, wow, God, yes, this is exactly perfect. I haven't lost anything, but I've gained everything. I've gained back the consciousness of God. And now I feel that that's the way I get through life is acceptance. And if I deny reality and I say I don't want to have this, or I don't want this to be, I'm at war with God.
Hmm.
And then the pain just gets worse.
Hmm.
And then you get the news, this is exactly what it is, and then you move and do the things that are aligned. You told me at the beginning, Maria, I'm just one foot in front of the other, whatever is in front of me. Exactly. It's like you move, you call the doctor, you get the prescription, whatever it is that you're moved to do, you do it, but it comes from an awareness that is more aligned to love. It comes from awareness of acceptance versus denial. I don't want this pain.
Right.
I don't want to have this cancer. I don't want this. Then you're coming from a space of fear, and then you're doing actions aligned to that. Does that make sense? So it's a huge thing. A
Absolutely.
huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because as soon as we say we don't want this or we start judging it, that even that it's something bad. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's so easy to judge illnesses as bad, but that's a label. That's a
The
label
judgment.
that makes it more real and it
Or real.
makes the pain worse because you're labeling it as something negative. But what if this is the thing that you chose to help you grow the most? Maybe we don't, again, see the bigger picture of what we're learning, what we set up for ourselves.
Or
We
Cindy,
made this.
or Cindy, how do you not know that this isn't the best thing ever?
Exactly.
How
Great
do we
point.
not know that this is the best thing ever? We have no idea. That's
We have
course
no
lesson.
idea.
The course lessons, how are they, Cindy? I don't know what anything means.
I don't know
I
anything
gave
means, what
every
anything is for. I know. No, no, exactly. I'm so happy we're having this conversation because this is exactly what I wanted to bring up and to share and to have listeners too who might be going through something listen to this conversation that I feel is so important right now and necessary, that we remember that, look, we do appear to live in a world of duality. We're going to feel at times, oh, this is good, or this is bad, this is good, this is bad, till we really transcend duality and go, oh yeah, I am, appearing to be in a world of duality, but that does not mean that I have to judge something as bad, as negative. That does make it more real to the mind and to the unconscious mind. And it does produce more guilt, more upset, more anger. And Maria and I are not saying, I think I can speak for this part, we're not saying that there aren't going to be times when you might want to feel like you might feel upset, right? Or you might feel, oh God, this is a bad day, or I'm not having my best day today. I don't want to forgive today. Or you might have days like that. Or, there might be times when it's very rough. And you get into kind of like a mode of, kind of a little spiral. But that's okay. That's a point I want to make.
It's part of it.
It's
It's
part of
part
the
of
process of also acceptance, is moving into that acceptance, is actually being honest with yourself, with how you feel in the moment.
Yeah.
That's really being, if you're in the moment, you feel like crap, allow yourself to bring that to the Holy Spirit and say, I feel like crap right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. So maybe in that moment, you don't quite feel like you can move into that forgiveness space. It doesn't mean you're unworthy. It doesn't mean you're not a good course student. It doesn't mean you can always come back to that place of forgiveness and of non-judgment when you will. If you're, when devotion and motivation and inspiration will help you get there, the Holy Spirit, when you really ask the Holy Spirit for help, it's there. We just need to ask. And being above the battleground is really being in that space of non-judgment, looking with the Holy Spirit at the pain or whatever is happening. And even if you're feeling the pain, and just saying, Jesus, please help me see this differently. Or bring, but he wants us to bring, though, everything first, be honest with him, and not hold back, be really authentic with what we're feeling. This is what I do. This is part of my practice. If I feel that's necessary, I go to Jesus and I sit down and I say, Jay, I say, this is a hard day, this is a hard day. And, but I want to see this differently. I could see peace instead of this. And I know that I can, although I'm feeling this way. So help me to see this differently and choose again. And I look with him and I practice looking from a neutral perspective. And I mean that literally, from being sort of just, you're not judging this body that's not really you. Nobody is their diagnosis. It has nothing to do with what you are. You're not your diagnosis. You're not your pain. You're not any of that. You're having a dream of pain or a dream of separation, but it isn't real. But it doesn't mean we don't look at it. And so we need to look and be honest with ourselves, so we don't skip steps, and which could not be helpful and not very loving, to pretend maybe we're somewhere where we're not. So we just want to accept where we are in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
even if that's not feeling great. Or, oh, I didn't do forgiveness today, and not allowing yourself to judge yourself for that, but really being in that space, authentic space of just saying, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm going to allow myself to feel it, and I don't have to judge myself.
That's very loving.
Yeah, very loving to do that.
It's
Yeah,
super.
it's very loving
Love.
to do that. A lot of people ask questions about feelings, like, oh, emotions, or I should, almost like it's wrong to feel feelings. No, it's not. Feelings tell you where you are,
Mm-hmm.
where you are even in your mind. And so if you're having a bad feeling, or you don't feel good, or you're thinking with or with the ego, which is the teacher of pain, and we can really drown ourselves in the ego. But all that's necessary is to just say, oh, okay, almost like in whatever ways works for you, but just to have some acknowledgement that, yeah, I've really been thinking with the ego, and I feel like that's that's bringing about more upset, more pain, more, it's not bringing me joy. This thought is not bringing me joy. So I can choose again. And,
It's
and,
bringing
and you
in more,
can.
also more consciousness, like more
Yeah.
consciousness, more awareness
Yeah.
within things, when we allow ourselves to be more, allow ourselves more to be brings us more into consciousness because we're
Yeah.
not judging it. We're allowing ourselves, oh, like I'm a hot mess today, or
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm just feeling
Okay.
off. Or there's sometimes that just my awareness and my consciousness helps me to say, oh my God, I'm really making this real. I really believe that this person is my problem, or Christian is my problem, or Ari's, my son's attitude is my problem, the problem. And just that consciousness or having that awareness helps me because I realize again, I'm the creator of my reality. I'm the creator of my experience of how I'm going to see X, Y, and Z. Um,
Yeah.
instead of instead of denying that, it's like I'm choosing right now to believe that the problem is outside of me.
Hmm.
But the truth
Yep.
is, it's not outside of me. But but it's
Yeah.
so good because I feel that the authenticity, the rawness, what I'm hearing in this conversation we're having, the weirdness, the realness, and the rawness and the authenticity actually brings us into the healing quicker because we're not denying the reality. We're not making ourselves wrong. We're like, hey, this is how we feel, or I'm scared, or whatever it is. And then also talking about it like you and I are, or even talking about it with a person or with, it's just, it's love,
Hmm.
That's like true intimacy, I
Hmm.
feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Not hiding things is so important. I used to hide things all the time. I was hiding and hiding, um, just just discomfort or, hiding anxious feelings or, and that wasn't helpful. So the course speaks to that too, about how that first of all, hiding just aggravates the situation. It's not, in fact, pushing it down even further into the unconscious mind. The guilt, if we feel we need to hide it, what are we really saying when we need to hide something? That somehow we feel unworthy or ashamed, or right, that we're somehow sinful, or right, or we're guilty, or that's why we feel we need to push it down. And that's what got us in this whole mess of a world in the first place, isn't it? Forgetting to laugh and even being, having a bit of a sense of humor. And part of my practice has been that lately, to also remember that, bring a sense of humor to this. It doesn't have to be so heavy. I mean, that's my choice. If I make it heavy, that's my choice. But I can make it light too. I can remember to, I can laugh because the body's not me. This condition is not me. Yeah, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do the normal thing because that's loving. But it's not me though. And I can still, we can always go back to that foundation of truth. And I think that's what really matters, that you're going, and you can always practice forgiveness. Even if you don't do it on that day, come back to it. The moment, right? You come back to it and you can always have another chance.
Yeah.
Nobody's judging you. There's no
And it,
judgment
and
out
it,
there.
and it always comes back, Cindy, to
Yeah.
questioning your beliefs because it comes from the belief system.
Yeah.
So it's all judgments on the belief, like the belief that, I don't know, that the condition they gave you is bad, or the belief that the cancer is bad, or the belief that, this I shouldn't have this cold, it's wrong. I've been studying the lessons why I have this cold. It's like these beliefs and these judgments that separate, and they put us into this state of mind that is separated, and we're in the illusion, right? And that's one of the reasons why in my new book, Live Your Happiest, and
Oh, yes. Talk about that.
thank
Yeah.
you so much for your endorsement. Also, it's in there. I have to send you a copy so you can see it with you and
Great.
Mary in it. But one of the things I introduce into this book is the four questions of Byron Katie, because I really love the work of Byron Katie, and I love her four questions because she talks a lot about belief systems and that the beliefs is what gives you the pain, right? And she also talks about non-judgment. The four questions are basically a process. I always say it's like forgiveness on steroids. I compare it in the book to the four questions to the forgiveness that the course is teaching. And finally I understand how to experience that forgiveness like in a way through these questions.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Tam about it too from the foundation. She's like, that's amazing that you have found that because anything that complements the course, I think it's a good thing. And I've found this tool and I've been sharing it with my community and I've shared it in my new book. But I felt, Cindy, such a call to share. And it's funny because Byron Katie has had so many health issues, by the way. And
Okay.
she is an awakened teacher, supposedly, with what she's done, but she has like, she can't see sometimes. She was blind for a while. She's had a
Okay.
lot of things in her body.
Mhm.
And she talks about in her audiobooks and her books how she's so free about it. She accepts it 100%. I
Mhm.
can't see
Wow.
my cornea. I need to change it. And if she gets the doctor, she's fine. If she doesn't get it, she's fine. She has like this freedom
Yeah.
in the way she talks about sickness that it's incredible, by the way. So she has this third question where she says, how would I be without this thought? So how would I be if I didn't, if, how am I with a thought? So that's the ego for me and the private thought. So the ego and the private thoughts, right? When you say, how am I with a thought is where you're able to expose your private thoughts. And the ego loves to be seen. So how am I with a thought? You know, I feel separated or I feel like, oh my God, I'm so scared about this condition that the doctor has said I have, or the, you know, the private thought, how am I with this thought? I feel like my life is going to end, or I'm going to have a short-lived life, or this end of my life. That's the private thought, right? Who am I with the thought that I have this ailment? How about if I didn't have the thought that that this illness is bad? What if I didn't have the thought? Well, if I don't have the thought that the illness is bad, I'm free. And I felt it right now. Like I'm
Mhm.
literally
Mhm.
free. If I don't have the thought that this is wrong, I am free. And then hence we're experiencing the course forgiveness. So that's why I have felt such a surge and a power to share the importance of non-judgment very specifically because the course's forgiveness is so hard to wrap our head around. I think that the first time I started to understand forgiveness was because of Gary, because of the way he wrote about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like these four questions have really unlocked it for me because I've actually experienced it,
Mhm.
the freedom of that forgiveness. And I had a huge breakdown with Christian 2 years ago. I actually talked to your sister about it. And
Mhm.
I was able to have a healing with him, a point that our marriage almost ended. But I asked that question, who am I without the thought? And I
Mhm.
was able to come from a place of love, have such an important conversation with my husband that freed us both because I came into it with non-judgment. I was able to get to the point of if we're together, good, and if we're not together, good. And that's real love, right?
Mhm.
You want the person to be where they want to be. That's what love is.
Yes, that's what love is. Unconditional,
So it's
not
incredible.
possession. Yeah, it is incredible. And yeah. Um, and there is an element, oh my God, absolutely, of truth to that because it's our thoughts that are shaping our whatever we're
Our
experiencing,
beliefs.
our
Yep.
beliefs and everything. And if we don't question them, and this part is in alignment with the course, if we don't question, right? Remember, this goes in alignment. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And I've always said, as a
So
compliment to
true.
that, an unquestioned mind can accomplish nothing.
Oh, I like that. I
An
should have put that,
unquestioned
I should have
mind.
put that in the book. I love that. That is
Oh yeah,
so cool.
I just have always said, because I said also, because you have to question.
What is it that you said it
An
say?
unquestioned mind can accomplish nothing.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Because
That's
you have
exactly it.
to inquire about what beliefs you're holding inside that are keeping you from accepting yourself as God created you. So if you're not questioning those beliefs, what do? They kind of just fester and they kind of you marinating in it. And you
Well,
just keep doing it.
that's how the pain gets worse. That's how your depression comes. That's how the stress comes.
Yes,
Those
yes,
unquestioned thoughts. That's actually the
yes,
cause that the course is
yeah,
talking about. The cause
yeah,
is
yeah.
there.
We all have deep beliefs, and uh, you know, again, according to the course, the deepest belief that brings about suffering is separation. The belief that we really are separate from God. If we go all the way to the top level, it's really that's the at the deepest level is that we really believe we're sinful and separate from God. But that trickles down then to all these
So all
other
these other thoughts
beliefs.
that we
It's just
have.
like other offset shoots of that. All the other beliefs we have come from that separation thought. And then that, but then, yeah, then we say, but yeah, but I, yeah, and but I'm unworthy of this, or I'm, yeah, well, who would I be? Yes, without, I've often said that to myself. Who would I be without, actually, the ego loves pain. So who would I be without this pain?
Mhm.
Now, to the ego, that's frightening because it means that I would be free. I would be as God created me. I would be in full acceptance of the atonement. I would be to the ego, that's frightening. So we don't want to go there. The ego wants to stay in a place of pain. So if we are just aware of that, not judging ourselves for in pain, but just go, I'm aware of that the ego likes to maintain this idea of separation and pain. Doesn't mean I'm not going to, again, take care of myself and do what I need to do and, all that. But I can just have that awareness in my mind of how the ego operates so that I can, more readily be in a miracle frame of mind where I can go, there is another way. I could see this. I do have that power. That's the power we have to choose. And so that's an important part of this. And Maria, I don't know how much time we have left. There was one more song I did want to play. Do we have, let's see, do we have time to play The Gift
Yeah,
of,
we
do
can
you want
go.
to say some closing
We,
words?
well, we
Or
can
we could
go now
just,
with this. You can go ahead and let's listen to the song because I think it's a good time so
and then
people
we can kind of close out
and
quickly.
then
We'll just do a, whatever
people
happens.
right now people can take in the song, Cindy, like because we
Yeah,
talked so much. And then while you're doing that, I'll be here, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Christian know. Maybe he can get Ari and we can wrap it up. Okay? So you can.
sounds great. And I'm going to do what you need to do. And I'm going to set up this song. Everybody is called The Gift of Love. And it's actually about in times when you do feel down, that you can remember. It's just a remembering. That's what the miracle is a remembering that of the strength of God within you. That's the whole basic idea of the song, The Gift of Love, and that the only thing that really matters is that you're allowing yourself to receive the gift of this unconditional love, the love that's not of this world, that you're really receiving that. So that's the idea for the song. I'm going to play it for you now, called The Gift of Love. So. Oops.
If the cursor, you could bring it to the play. No, you're gonna close it
There
there.
we go.
Okay.
Oh, I just found the screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
I got it. Got the screen. Here we go. Here we go. Here it is.
There are days when I feel the need to be saved, but I know better and I recognize my strength. There are nights when I just don't feel alright. Then I remember that I'm standing in the light. When temptations rise to keep me hypnotized from all the joy that makes me feel alive, don't wanna throw away this moment of God's grace, for the only thing that matters is the gift of love. The gift of love is all we have to hold on to make it through this game of life. And even if you have the whole world in your hands, the only thing that matters is the gift of love. The gift of love. The gift of love. The gift of love. Making love the number one gift of all. Don't wanna sing sad songs or play the unlucky one Whatever life brings my way, I'll see the blessing it gave. When the battle is raging from a choice I am making, to decide if it's wrong or if it's right. If I've reached that fork in the road, not knowing where to turn, I will know that the only thing that matters is the gift of love. The gift of love is all we have to hold on to make it through this game of life. And even if you have the whole world in your hands, the only thing that matters is the gift of love. The gift of love. The gift of love. Making love the number one gift of all. Oh, let us pray. There will come a day when we'll walk together as one, crossing the bridge to another world where the only thing that matters is the gift of love. The gift of love is all we have to hold on to make it through this game of life. And even if you have the whole world in your hands, just remember the greatest gift is love. So make it number one. The greatest gift is love.
And there we have it.
Oh wow, that was so powerful. What a beautiful song. I love the lyrics to that song. I love how you said, Maria, and well, to all of us, that you're using this time in this way. You're like, yeah, I'm going through these struggles, but I'm channeling in ways to get me through it, and this is one of the ways. And I just can't help but think what's coming through is so incredible, and that other people can do that too. If you're going
Yeah,
through any struggles, you
yeah.
can use and do things that help you overcome it or make it easier or more flowy or however. But wow, what a great song.
Oh,
No
thank
wonder
you.
you wanted to let everyone know that this is coming. It's
Yeah, I have a lot of songs coming.
And I
And
love
it'll take a
how we're making it very, I felt like this conversation today, I feel like we've made it like very, hey, hi everybody, here you go. Here's the song. Like there's nothing very produced. It's just like I
yep.
love that. It's very I feel it's needed because everything nowadays is so produced and so,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
I
Structured.
do.
I
I do.
love how we're just like showed up today. We're like, I mean, Cindy and I did not know what we were going to talk about. Like we had an idea because of the
Yeah.
title, but she just texted me one day. She had this amazing idea, which I think is great, the raw, real, and authentic conversation. And then she says, I want to show my music. And I love how she's going through a challenging time to even press buttons on the computer and everything, but she figured it out and she puts the music, and it's just, I think it's very inspiring, even like getting to where we are, you know?
Yeah, thanks for saying that and sharing that. I'm glad, and you're right. We really, has been a very, everybody, a spontaneous. We were just coming, we were like, let's just do this on the fly. We didn't have a plan, an outline. We just came together and just wanted to literally just, what's going to come up? Let's just be authentic and raw and just share. What else is there? Let's just do that. Everything doesn't have to always be planned. And um, that's one way of just allowing yourself to be just naturally who you are and let whatever comes forth come forth without censoring anything or having to feel like you have to have a plan and plan everything. And I think sometimes the most powerful inspirations come through that way instead of having this whole oh, we're going to do this and this and this and this outline. And, but I do hope, whoever is listening that you were able to pick some gems out of this, something, whatever takeaways could be helpful. I do hope it was truly helpful. I know Maria and I both would want that. I hope it's just been truly helpful. That's the only reason we do this. I mean, I could speak for myself, but just to be truly helpful. And it comes right back to me, again, I'm speaking for myself, so Maria can speak for herself. But anytime we help others, we're really helping ourselves. So but the love always comes back to you. And that's important to know that since there's only one of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been great to have this conversation
I
and
feel
I
so
enjoyed
good.
it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It felt
Yeah.
very loving and aligned and just so, I don't know, just what I feel is like a sense of comfort, just a very comfortable space of where we can also, when people watch this, they can come into this, I would feel like even a portal, a portal.
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
music took us to sort of a portal with the Celtic song and then this song. It's like just coming into another space of where I always say we're not here to suffer, we're here to remember. And I feel like this was an incredible moment to remember together as sisters and as colleagues, and then everyone else coming in to remember. And we are going to have challenges, Cindy, as we talked about today. We're going to have challenges with our body,
Mhm.
health-wise. We're going to have challenges in relationships. We're going to have challenges with, it could be some people with money or whatever is coming up. We are in this dual world, so we are going to experience that duality. And at the same time, I think our conversation has helped to be able to change your perception about it by being authentic, by being raw, by forgiveness. There was so much covered here, so I feel this is going to be super helpful.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. I agree. I
And I
think that,
love the title, I
yeah.
think it's so cool. You
Yeah.
came up with that and thought of me to share in that space with you because I think it's such an important thing to do to be real, raw, and honest. Yeah.
Boy, so do I. And given everything, I know it's been rough for some also, even just in the world in general, world events and that kind of thing. I mean, I know there's a lot going on and people are experiencing different things and different kinds of challenges and all that. So just having a real, raw, honest conversation is, I think, just more needed about, it's just needed. And I think there's a hunger for it. There's a hunger for spirituality. There's a hunger to remember who we are. And conversations like this just help the process, it helps it move along. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we did this.
Me
Yeah.
too. Thanks for
Yeah.
the invitation and just
Yeah. And
grateful, grateful and
yes,
music to
I
hear your music.
thank you. I'm grateful too, and for this and for your sharing as well. And congratulations on your book too, on your new book. We want to yeah, sure people know you can get your book at probably, anywhere. I don't know, Amazon
Yeah.
but they can get your book on Amazon. But it's always fun to have a new book out, isn't it? It's always nice to also to have a new product out. Um,
Yeah.
Gary, Gary just walked in the background. Okay, but it's
Love it.
funny. This is how loose we are. See, there's no like, there's not like,
He's like,
oh,
yeah, I love
this
it.
is hilarious.
I
Okay,
think he's like, okay, honey,
amazing.
I think you're gonna wrap it up
I
now.
know, it's almost like, yeah, yeah. How long are you going to do this for? But hilarious.
I love
Oh
it.
my God.
All right,
Anyway,
sister. I love you to
sister, yeah,
pieces.
love you, love to everybody, and
Yeah.
yeah, we will see you online again soon.
See you
Yeah.
soon. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.